What's going on, guys? Casey Flower here, and you might have been hearing some press around the new airline Northern Pacific over on the West Coast and how they ran into some maintenance issues on their second ever flight after their inaugural from Vegas to Ontario. And it just so happened that yours truly was actually booked on that flight, and I was actually going to film it for you guys for an airline review. I was booked in seat 3A, gonna review their first class product review. So back on Sunday morning, I flew on 2 Southwest flights from St. Louis to Vegas through Denver. And when I got to Vegas, everything was well until this happened.
Area for those passengers on flight 888 with service to Ontario. We are just waiting for clearance from our flight crew. Once we get that clearance, we will start the boarding process. On behalf of Northern Pacific, we thank you for flying with us today and have a pleasant flight.
All right, there she is. Brand new 757 taking us to Ontario. Second ever flight for the airline. Okay, so you're probably wondering why I wasn't on the actual inaugural for Northern Pacific from Ontario to Vegas the other day. And that is because I wanted the full raw service Northern Pacific. I didn't want any like special events, special services, special treatments in celebration that it was the inaugural flight. I just want raw service, raw Northern Pacific. It's the second ever flight, not the first one, so nothing special at all. So if it's nothing special, then that's just gonna be raw. Our original boarding time of 1:30 came and went, and a lot of people were in the boarding area waiting to board in suspense. Anyway, in the meantime, a lot of the Southwest gate agents and workers were in the gate area all tripped out by the new airline because they haven't seen it before, and the big 757 in the sea of 737s, and it just looks so out of place. And not only that, but all the packs too waiting to board their Southwest flights have never seen the airline, and little did they know that this airline was only 3 days old. Anyway, after some time passed, our gate agent came out with an announcement.
We're going to be on another hold for another 15 minutes. We are just waiting to hear back from maintenance. Thank you very much for your patience.
Boarding's further delayed. T plus 40 minutes. 45 minutes passed after that announcement and still no boarding. Then I checked flight radar to see our new departure time. Okay, new departure time is 3:30, but not yet canceled. Fingers crossed, not yet canceled. I just saw some cabin crew walk off. Bit unsettling, isn't it? Now, everyone was pretty hopeful in the boarding area, up until they kept pushing the boarding further, and further back, up until they made this announcement.
The issue was our plane has been sitting here since Friday, and due to the excessive heat, some batteries have discharged. We were hoping to get those batteries charged while the plane was sitting here, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So we are having batteries transported from Ontario to Las Vegas, but this flight will be on at least a 4-hour delay. I'm very sorry. We did not anticipate this happening. What we can do is keep you on the flight if you want to stay around, or you can call our 1-800 number and get a refund for your flight, or we can rebook you until next Sunday. I don't know if you want to stay around for a whole week.
So what are the chances of us getting there before midnight? Okay, I'll stay on for now. So yeah, that's what happens when you leave an airplane in a hot 100-degree weather for 3 days. Batteries overheat, and yeah. Good news is my flight out of Ontario to Dallas-Fort Worth, it's a red-eye tonight, so that leaves at like 12:45 in the morning tomorrow, so I have until like midnight to get there. So that's good news, and still looking good for us. Pretty shaky startup for Northern Pacific. I mean, that's expected for an airline that's only like 2-3 days old. So yeah, I changed back into my comfy shirt. That's not my plaid shirt. I'll wear that when we get on. Don't worry if we do. Fingers crossed, famous last words. But yeah, I'll probably check back at 6. It's like 4:15 right now. So I'll check back around 6 for then. Because they said at least 4 hours. And the expected departure, the original departure time was 2 p.m. And you know, 2 plus 4 is 6. So yeah, check back then and see what happens. Alright, I'm just doing some plane spotting here in the terminal, just to pass the time. And I haven't gotten any updates at all from Northern Pacific. Like, I didn't get like a text update or like email update saying that we're gonna be delayed at least 4 hours. When they said that, like no text or emails, no nothing. So I'm kind of just gonna guess and check, I guess. So go back to the gate that we departed from, Bravo 22, at 6 with a 4-hour delay. So yeah, kind of on edge there with not getting any updates, but we'll check in. You're gonna have to kind of do that on your own. At that point, it was 5:45, so I went ahead and made my way back to the Northern Pacific Gate, B-22, to see if my plane was there. And sure enough, it wasn't. So I checked flight radar and saw the new departure time is going to be 7:45. Alright, looks like maintenance are there. After my spotting session, I made my way to one of the A concourses, and I saw the target, getting some maintenance done. I saw some pickup trucks out there that hopefully had the battery, and the maintenance is doing their thing. Shortly after that, the pickup trucks left, and I thought that was a good thing, but turns out I was wrong about that. Alright, met up with the Northern Pacific crew, and the new departure time's 11. It's gonna be tight, but if we end up leaving at exactly 11, we'll make it by a tiny bit, but it's gonna be really tight. This was then followed by me leaving TSA and going down to the Northern Pacific check-in desk to see the same gal that did the announcement to get a little bit more information. Hi, so what's the new departure time? Because I saw it was 11. Soon?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're still waiting on the part to get here.
Oh really? So it's not here yet? And how long does that usually take to install?
You get it. It could take anywhere between 1 to 3 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's okay. So it's a bust. After receiving the information that the battery still hasn't arrived and they started to take the time to install it, it then became pretty clear that I wouldn't make my connection in Ontario at 12:45 to make it to Dallas. So from there, the customer service agent and I then started to book flights home for me to St. Louis. So we went ahead and went on the Southwest app, and then literally from there just used the company credit card for the airline to pay for a ticket for me to go back home. And on top of that, they were also able to reimburse me for the ticket. I paid about $279 for the one-way ticket in their first class to Ontario from Las Vegas for the 40-minute flight. So it was good on them that I was able to get reimbursed for that, and they were able to cover my entire ticket home. I did have to spend the night in Vegas, and I had to leave the next day since there were no other available flights. So they weren't able to cover my hotel since the flight wasn't technically canceled that night. But they were able to cover a flight home for me and reimburse me. Although the flight did get canceled for the passengers, so maybe I'll call them later eventually and see if they can reimburse me for the hotel since it wasn't technically canceled. However, they did take off the aircraft out of Vegas and take it back to Ontario as just a ferry flight with no passengers to get it back to Ontario for some maintenance. So technically, the flight itself was canceled, but the aircraft still had to fly back to Ontario. Anyway, it was a shame that the airline had to cancel their second ever flight after their inaugural. Not a very good look on them, but it was a good look how they were able to reimburse me for that flight and pay for my flight home, which did end up costing a pretty penny. Would have been pretty cool to do a video on their first class product, but I mean, also it's not a very long flight, so I wouldn't be able to get a decent feel for it. But I mean, I guess things happen for a reason. So on their Alaska flights, I would be able to try the first class product and film it and get a really good idea for it because it was a long flight. I was able to try the product, try their meals, try their service, try everything on their Alaska flights and Asia flights whenever that gets around. Hopefully in the next year, whenever they get ETOP certified, be able to fly to Alaska and Asia. But whenever that gets around, it's going to be fun. And look out for it on the channel when it does. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video and seeing what happened to Northern Pacific this weekend and what happened on their second ever flight. And I will see you guys on my next adventure. Bye for now. You can really see the sunscreen on my face from the 100-degree weather in the sun because my face is so front lit.